Hello beautiful souls, and welcome back to Annie Around the Wild. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining. If you're new or returning, either way, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're enjoying my journey in van life. A little fun fact, I actually got notified from YouTube about a couple days ago that it was my 1-year anniversary of my channel, and I was like, oh wow, that means, I mean, it's only been like 6 to 8 months that I've been making content on here, but I opened my channel once I was getting everything ready. So wow, I couldn't believe that it's already been an entire year. So that means I was like, wow. So it really goes to show you how time really flies. My goodness. But thank you so much for being here on my crazy journey. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes we're in really great locations having fun. And, you know, especially for me with all of the stressors around me right now, it's definitely, you know, needed for my mental health to just get away and be around places that feed my soul. But for the most part, I am stuck around the city. So if you are watching this, you would have seen the Sequoia videos. If you haven't checked them out, I did put them into 3 parts. Definitely go check them out. I believe there's a couple more that I have to upload from the Sequoia trip for all of you to see. But before I did that, I remembered that I still have not did a video for y'all showing the map of the Sequoias, which was supposed to happen. But we were just so busy while we were over there, you know, just seeing everything and, you know, doing like the driving tours. So I was just focused on seeing as much as we can and taking it all in. It was the most amazing experience of my life. And I have traveled outside of this country. That's where my traveling has been. So since I'm, you know, forced to be in my van and forced into van life, I figured, why not travel within my own country, you know? So I traveled all my life out of the country, and now it's time to be in the country. Sorry, I'm getting a little heartburn. I got some Baskin Robbins over here in a form of a shake because the weather here is insane. It's 100 degrees. It is humid AF. And it's, you know, the clouds are coming in. It's about to start raining and everything. So the weather is just insane. So yeah. Anyway, so with that said, the Sequoias were amazing. And I believe there are a couple more parts to come. But in one of those videos that you're going to see, I did say that we will look at the maps to exactly see where and what we have covered. Now, I am glad that I'm actually doing this now after the trip rather than during, because now we have a better idea of wow, what we did, because it really is amazing. I mean, I did not think we would cover as much as we did. We pretty much covered the entire, like the park is pretty much put into 3 parts, and it's like 2 of them are national parks and the other 3rd area is the national forest area, and that makes up the entire Sequoias. And we managed to see everything except one little section, which I didn't even realize. So that was, I mean, that's insane, y'all. That's insane. I thought because of my, you know, I had my fur baby with me and I can't take her on the trails, I thought I would not be able to see a lot. But wow, beautiful souls, I got to take y'all all over the Sequoias virtually and show y'all 99.9% of it. And I cannot believe I got to explore that much of the Sequoias. And I mean, it was amazing. I saw a brown bear at camp. You're going to be seeing that. That's going to be in the last upload because that was at the end. Oh man, that was quite an experience. This camera, I wish it zoomed in better. I probably should have used my phone, but I didn't, because then I could have zoomed in like really close. But because the bear was actually closer than he looks in the camera, but that was such an experience. I'm so glad I saw the bear in a safe place. It was at camp with other people around. There was like 15 people, as you will see in the video, you know, making a ruckus and banging and doing the bear horns and everything. Another thing I mentioned in the videos was that we were going to be taking a walk to see the campsite, and that did not happen. Why? Because of that bear. So he was just around. He was not aggressive. He was not violent. He was just curious. There was a lot of good smells going around with all of us cooking. So he was just being attracted to the yummy food smells, you know. He was just walking all like, you know, hey, you guys, what you got there, you know? He was totally calm, you know? And like, it was wow. I can't believe how ginormous the bears are in real life. Like, one leg was the size of me, and one paw was like my baby girl's size. I just like one paw and my poor baby would have been done, you know? So I'm like, wow, there's no way I'm walking. So because he was, you know, he was trying to get into camp, you know, it was clear he was. So because of that, we didn't do walking because I was not prepared. Yo girl was not prepared. You know, you hear about bear sightings, but I've never actually had a bear sighting in my entire life. And I'm a very, very outdoorsy person, okay? Ever since a kid to, like, that's the one constant that's never changed in my life. I am always doing something outdoors, whether it's my rollerblades, bicycle, my legs, walking, hiking, you know, I mean, I'm always doing something outdoors in like the mountains, you know, not like, you know, where cars are, but in the mountains kind of activities. And I've never had that experience, so I was not prepared. No way was I prepared, but now I'm prepared. I got 2 bear horns, a whistle, and next time I'm definitely going to be walking around with my knife on my hip, just for safety for myself of the wildlife out there. And also, like, as you saw in a lot of the clips, you know, the giant sequoias and the giant redwoods and the giant pines is all what you're seeing. And inside, like, there are hollow areas in the trees, and like, mind you, these are like huge spaces, like 22 plus feet spaces. So there could be a lot of animals there, like a lot of like the feline families, you know, mountain lions, bobcats, things like that, you know, living in there. Or there could also be bears living in there. They could also have their like babies in there, and so they could be aggressive. So that was like that's also why I didn't finish a lot of trails. I just decided whenever I started feeling a type of way, I just let my gut kind of guide me. And whenever I started feeling like, okay, this is the time to turn around, that's what I did. I was like, let's just turn around now. Like, I think we're pushing our luck already too far, you know, because mind you, like, at every turn, you never know what that, like, when you can just turn and then there's something there. And I'm not trying to have that experience. Like I said, I was not prepared at all. I didn't have a bear horn. I didn't have a whistle. I had left my knife in my car, you know, so yo girl was completely just me, you know, so next time I'm more prepared now. I also learned just that one bear experience firsthand taught me pretty much so much. I also learned that bear spray is not a very good idea. It doesn't do anything really. They don't really get bothered by the bear spray too much. And also, there's always a chance where because in California especially, it's always some kind of windy. It doesn't matter if it's winter or not winter. There's always some kind of wind going on. And like the wind can always blow that spray back into your face. And now you have bear spray in your face, and now you can't protect yourself because you're like burning or whatever the effects are of that. You know, I'm sure it's a lot worse than pepper spray, but you know, you're like over here, and then the bears, you know, you can just get attacked from whatever the animal is there, you know. So that's why I'm also not going to invest that much money in bear spray, because to me that's not a good idea. That's actually putting me in more harm than safety, like to protect me, in my opinion. So I'm not gonna get that. So what I did end up getting is the whistle, 2 bear horns, and my knife. I you know, I mean, dang, what's a girl to do? But that was quite an experience. I will never forget. I will never forget that. That was amazing. I can't believe I saw a bear. And at night he kept trying to come back too. Y'all are all gonna see that in the clips. Like, y'all are with me. I take all of you with me on my journey at the Sequoias. I left nothing out for y'all. So yeah, now without further ado, let's get to this map. Okay, so, oh, it was so much fun. I can't wait until next year that we get to go back, because the main areas that I like to go to, it's closed in the summertime. So that, it's closed in the summertime. It's only open in the summertime. Sorry, it's only open in the summertime. It's closed in the winter and the fall. So you can only go in the summer. Like, the roads are closed to go into like the Kings Canyon and all of that. Where we went for the cave, that was also Kings Canyon. That was not the... There's also one other cave at the Sequoia National Park, but we went to the National Forest Cave, which is the cave video that, if you haven't seen that yet, it will be posted, and definitely you have to check that out as well. Yes, we see a cave, and I mean, we just saw so much. We saw so much. It was a beautiful experience. So let's get to this map, beautiful souls, shall we? All right, now here is the map of all of the Sequoias right over here. All right, so it is put into 3 different portions. Okay, so I'm gonna fold up this part that's like in writing, and this is the part you guys all need to focus on. All right, so we did all of this. Okay, we covered all of it. Now, the parts that you're gonna see where I drew a line myself with a star here. Now, this line that I drew, this is the small, this little area on the bottom, this little area is the area we did not cover. And a lot of this we cannot get to because it's over 11,000 elevation. So the only way to get there is by hiking. There's no roads that allow motor vehicles to go. So it pretty much, the road stops right here. So this is the only portion that we did not see of this entire park. And this park, okay, so here you're going to see, let me show y'all. Okay, so this area, here, hang on, beautiful souls. All right, beautiful souls, that's much better. I had to give you all a better view over here. All right, so let's do this. So here is the map. Okay, so let me try to maneuver myself now so I can do this properly. All right, so here is the entire map of the Sequoias and the Kings Canyon National Park and Forest. So like I said, the map, so the whole entire park is pretty much into 3, okay? So here is this entire portion over here is the Sequoia National Park, where you're going to, I'm going to tell you all everything. Here's where the lodge pole is. So all past here, you can't drive any further, as you see on the map. The road ends there. So to get all the way up to this section, so this section is also the national park, but this is the Kings Canyon side of the Sequoia National Park. And then this side over here, this is the 3rd portion, where this is the Kings Canyon and Sequoia National Forest. So this is a national forest areas. So for all of you who are wondering, who cares, what's the difference? So if you want to be able to fly drones, you cannot fly drones in the national park areas, but in the national forest area, you're allowed to fly your drones. So there are differences, there are different rules. Also in the national park areas up here, you're not allowed to dispersed camp if you can't find a campsite. campsite, you're not allowed to disperse camp, which is why we ended up at the Chevron one of the nights. But over here at the National Forest, you are allowed to disperse camp at the National Forest area, which is a very big area. So you have a huge area where you are allowed to disperse camping. So the fact that you're allowed to go into the National Forest and that you can do dispersed camping in the National Forest is very much of a big deal, because if you can't find a campsite, you're not stuck driving 3 hours down this mountain canyonway at night like I did and like I was, and then my tires started overheating and it was like a whole thing. So all just because there, as y'all heard me, I ranted enough about it in the other videos, but if you missed it, there was a campsite. I wasn't able to get it because there was service issues at Lodgepole, so I couldn't get it, blah blah blah. Anyway, so I was forced to drive all the way down, and I couldn't find another campsite, of course, like by the time I got down near any of the other campsites, because Lodgepole is like the highest you can go in this part of the national park. So because by the time I got to everywhere else, it was already dark and everyone had kind of beat me to it. And so because I was busy, like, seeing everything, sightseeing and seeing everything, being like a tourist, so that's why we ended up where we ended up. So that's actually, like, safety wise, I loved that in the National Forest you are allowed to disperse camp. So if you can't find a campground available or like a campsite available because it's full or whatever, which in the National Forest you also don't really have that much of a worry, but if you go on like a hot day or something, where, like, by hot day I mean like there's a lot of people, it's like really a popular day or something, then maybe, but for the most part you are good. And that's something I really appreciated. I really did appreciate that very much. So yeah, over here, that was Lodgepole. So this Lodgepole Visitor Center over here. So all the visitor centers at the national parks have Wi-Fi. So whatever visitor center that you go to in the national parks over here is going to have Wi-Fi for you to have service at. At the National Forest, you will not. There is no service. There is no nothing. At the National Forest, it is more for people who are, you're a camper, you're an outdoors person, you have supplies, you have gear, you're good, because, all of that good old stuff, because there is no service up here. And that's also why not a lot of people go to the National Forest side, because there isn't as much like service or like restaurants and things like that, whereas this whole entire national parks area, they all have like access to restaurants and Wi-Fi and all of those things. And Lodgepole specifically, as you saw in the video, Lodgepole had showers and laundry. So if you are there for a couple days as a camper, just enjoying everything, that Lodgepole is pretty much where you would be for every time you needed, like, to clean, shower, and also clean your clothes and use their facilities there. They're like laundry machines. So I did not actually go to check how much their laundry machines are, which I'm regretting. I should have done that. I actually do want to know, how is their laundry machines like normal laundry prices, or are they charging like a lot more because they're all the way up in the mountains, in the middle of nowhere? So like, it's like, oh, we could charge you more because you need it, so we will, type of a thing. I didn't check that, so I don't know. I'm not sure, but over here at that Lodgepole, that is the only place that you're going to find showers and laundry service on this side of any. When it comes down to the national parks end of the Sequoias, the only place you're going to find it is at Lodgepole, laundry and showers. But everywhere else will have it. So the National Forest side has its own also right here at the center at the Grant Grove, the village centers over here. So they have, the ranger did let me know, they have showers and laundry available. Now, I will warn you that all the showers at this park and forest, all the showers, how they work is pretty much the token way, which honestly, I mean, damn, I'm sorry, but it's really stupid. So this is, and everyone who comes across this like token method also says a lot worse actually, but they agree, like no one's happy about the token like way that they do things. So you know, every like dollar gives you like a couple tokens, and each token lasts you only 2 minutes. So every 2 minutes, the water will turn off. And mind you, the water doesn't just like turn off. Like while you're showering, let's say it's been like a minute and 30 seconds or a minute and 20 seconds, the water will gradually start like decreasing its pressure when it starts getting to the 2 minute mark, you know? So it slowly stops working. So pretty much every like couple seconds, because a minute is 60 seconds, right? So every couple seconds, the water is going to turn off on you and you have to put a token in again. So I think that is just so stupid of a method for showering. I mean, who showers like that? You know, I think that's insanity. I know the campgrounds, you know, that before like this whole token thing that I started seeing them, I was having experiences at the campgrounds where you just put quarters in, you know, and like every 50 cents lasts you like 5 minutes, which was really cool. That was so doable, and I really liked that method. But this token thing is weird. That's weird. Every couple seconds, the water is gonna give me issues, and then I have to, you know, it's like, oh, so you have to be like showering like this, you know, you're like lathering, and then you have to like open. That's just crazy. That's just not practical. So just to warn you, that's how the shower systems are in the entire park. So they are all with tokens. So yeah, that's just something I did not use because of that reason. But their laundry is really cool. They have it at, so you don't, if you're at the forest side, you don't have to worry about coming God knows where on the other end of the park. You can just stay there, and there's its own facilities there. So the national parks, and though it's like its own whole thing. So that's also where you're gonna go to all of the places, like the General Sherman. The General Sherman is right on the way to Lodgepole. Now I know these things look close on the map, but these things are very far from each other. So keep that in mind. Make sure you have your full tank of gas, you know, because there's a lot of driving. And there is gas stations right before you enter like the national parks, so that you don't have to worry about that too much, honestly. And there is a little gas station in the national forest. They only have 87 and 91 gas. If you find them, you find them. I'm just joking, y'all. They're on Hip Camp, and I'm gonna freaking show y'all their picture, and I'm gonna put it here. And as you saw in the picture, they also have ice cream. So that's the forest end, and also a place where you can get gas if your car takes that any of those two gases. And it's not like a never-ending supply either. It's just like, as you saw, it's an old school gas station, and the employee comes and fills it for you. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, that's like for emergencies only type of a thing. But yeah, before you get into the park and the forest areas, just make sure that you have a full tank of gas and you should be fine. So yeah, with that said, you definitely do not have to worry about supplies or anything. As y'all saw, we were there for 5 days and we explored this huge area and we were just fine. We were just fine. So there was the lodge pole, and then we go down here. And then we covered the General Sherman, and then this was the Giant Forest Museum that we also went to right over here. And as you see, this is the General Grant Grove over here. Or Giant Forest Grove, I apologize, that we walked all of this stuff. We went through the Crescent Meadows, the Morrow Rocks, we did all of that. The Marble Falls, I mean, that was there, but there were no falls right now at this time of the season. But I'm sure if you go like early summer, late spring, right when they open, in that time period, I'm sure you'll find a lot of nice waterfalls over there going. I'm sure there'll be a lot of very beautiful waterfalls going over there. That is for 100% sure. But yeah, and then so you come down from here, the Three Rivers area, okay? And then so this is the first Foothills Visitor Center that you're gonna get to on General's Highway. And then on the way there was all of these to see. That was the big like little rock overlook thing and everything. But yeah, and then we get to all of these. We did all of this. And then this is where we drove to the side to Crystal Cave. This is that cave that was closed but then opened Friday. So this Crystal Cave, you can go and access it, but the only way to access it is through tickets. And you have to purchase your tickets ahead of time online. So keep that in mind if you want to check out the Crystal Cave. And Crystal Cave is not the cave that we went to. The cave we went to is over in the National Forest. This is the national parks. So yeah, the Crystal Cave is where we drove off and everything was burned over here from a fire. Literally everything was burned in this entire area. So yeah, and then there's this huge cave that you can come to and explore. But if you come here, just keep in mind that this cave, you do have to get your tickets in advance. You cannot buy it over there, and Starlink does not work very well up there, thanks to the beautiful giant trees. So yeah, just keep that in mind. You're not gonna have that access up there. So yeah, maybe if you like drive over to one of the visitor centers and grab their Wi-Fi, maybe that way, maybe you could do it that way. But other than that, I can't think of another way. So that was Crystal Cave. And then we come back to the General's Highway and we come, and this is where we did all of that driving and everything. And the areas we're not allowed to go to, and there's no road access allowed, are all the high elevations, and the only way to go there is hiking only. And one of the cool things is that you can buy a permit, which I did bring that up in one of my other videos as well. So you can also buy a permit. People do this, they buy permits so they can go hiking at this all of the national parks area for months. So they can cover the whole place by nothing but foot. But keep in mind, you have to obviously have your supplies, your gear. You have to have everything that you're gonna need so that you can last all of that time while you're up in all of this area, right? So because imagine doing all of this by foot, this part, like this is the forest side, but imagine doing all of this part by foot. And you can get a permit. I'm sure it's not cheap, and do it. And definitely keep in mind that yes, you're definitely gonna see a bear if you do that, for sure. So yeah, we covered all of that areas. And again, to get from here to here, there is no road area really. So you just have to drive around and find your way, all right? So again, the area we did not cover is just this portion. And this half we can't even do anyway, because like I said, it's like over 11,000 elevation. And then this part over here ends right here at Mineral Kings, and that is at 7,830 feet elevation, which is right here. And that's where the road ends right there for the car access. So that's what we will do the next time we go. We definitely will start in the places that we have not been. That's for sure. So all we would have to do is just put the navigation to go to this ranger station, which is the highest point. But at the same time, I don't know if I want to take my baby above 6,500 elevation, because she is a senior. So I don't know if she would be able to handle 7,800 feet elevation. So that is also something that I would have to keep in mind as well, if I decide to do any of that. So yeah, as we keep going here on the map can you believe all the places we covered? And I thought I wouldn't be able to cover anything. Oh, silly Annie, silly Annie. Okay, so here is the Kings Canyon National Parks area over here. So we covered all of this. We did this. This is, it's like wanting to fall all over the place. This is that big meadow that y'all see, and y'all saw that was like really colorful. If the video's not up yet, it definitely will be, but like I was literally walking a little bit of this. Next time I'm gonna be walking a lot of that, because that's for sure gonna be a bear territory, and so that's why I didn't want to go. Like, I'm pretty sure the trailway that I was following was made by probably a bear. Honestly, that's probably why it was flattened out. I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, and there was also a lot of snakes. So shit, I don't know. Next time, to like, regardless of the temperature, I'm also gonna keep like my long boots on me for that too. So like I said, I'm gonna be better prepared next time. So we will definitely go to walk that meadow again, because this meadow was awesome. Oh my goodness. And yes, there was a horse area. Here are the camp areas that we were all passing by. Here's the General's Highway. Here's the creeks we were by. Here's that lookout peak that we were at. My goodness. Wow, we really drove. So apparently my baby is gonna be just fine at 7,000 feet, because apparently we drove to this peak. Or did we? Hold on, did we? Wow, we did. No, we did not. So that is by foot only. So that's one of the areas here. Sorry, beautiful souls. So that's over here. You see where the pink ends, and then it's gray here. So that is by foot only. And that takes you 8,480 feet up in elevation. Nice and high up right there. Wowza. All right, let me get this folding situated. Okay, here we go. Hopefully this will be okay. All right, so let's continue. And then here, this is where it was Cedar Grove. So we were camping around this area. This is the areas where we saw the bears and everything. And that's also, so we were actually, this is Cedar Grove Overlook. So yes, this is still the national park. Our camp was over here. You see how the border of the national park is in green, and then it's the national forest. We were in the national forest. So this is where the national park ends here, as you see. And then what continues here is the national forest. And we did all of this, the Grizzly Falls, all of these, this Kings Rivers, the trees, here's the camps that we were passing by, the Princess Camp, and all of that, the Hume Lake, Indian Creek. This is the Kings Canyon Visitor Center, which is at 6,589 feet. So that's as high up as I had pretty much planned on being. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Can you see? Can you see? Can you see? But we ended up just doing it all, y'all. We went Sequoia crazy. We went Sequoia cray. Yeah, and so we did everything. So yeah, we covered a lot, didn't we? Yeah, we did. There's still a lot that we probably have yet to cover. But yeah, we pretty much covered all of this, and we only have this little bit to cover pretty much. So we saw all of this, beautiful souls. Yes, and I am taking all of you with me. So here's the map of the Sequoias. Sequoias and the Kings Canyon National Parks and Forest. I mean, this was amazing. Trip of a lifetime. If you haven't been there, you have to go. These trees have all been around for thousands of years, many of them longer than humanity, and they've been around before humanity and been around since the dinosaurs were walking this earth. I mean, it's absolutely insane. If you want to know a little bit of information, I can read this little packet for y'all if you want. So here's a little bit about the subalpine habitat. It says in the subalpine habitat over 9,000 feet up in elevation, the air is cold and dry and the soil is scarce. Foxtail pines, white bark pines, and western juniper can survive here. I did not know they can survive that high up. The alpine zone, which has no trees, begins at about 11,000 feet. Here, the glacier's work is most evident. Rocks of all sizes, crystal clear lakes, and the rocky ice-carved cirques. The occasional low-growing shrubs and meadows that show off wildflowers like the sky in the briefs of summer. Whitney, so there's Mount Whitney right there as well, which is at 14,494 feet, which is the highest point in the contiguous United States. It is most easily seen from the Owens Valley east of the parks. Because parks roads top out at 7,800 feet. Oh, see here, so the roads do not allow you to go up over 7,800 feet in elevation with your car. So you will have to experience those countries on trail, off limits to motor vehicles. You can see mountain vistas from Morro Rock, Generals Highway, panoramic points near Grant Grove, pullouts before King Scenic Byway, which is California 180, descents into the canyon, and Mineral Kings Valley. All places that we went to. So exciting. The foothills. As you head towards the parks from the west, you roll through the foothills. Even in the extreme summer heat, a greater variety of plants and animals thrive in these relatively low elevations than in the other habitats in the park. The brushy chaparral that covers these low slopes is a marvel of adaptation. Hot, dry summers create an arid landscape. In winter and spring, the best seasons to visit the foothills, rains seem to magically bring it back to life when wildflowers pop out against lush green. Park entrances roads provide places to stop and explore up close. The Foothill Visitor Center has information and programs. If you have at least half a day, the road to Mineral Kings is an ideal place to experience the foothills ups and downs. Yes, it's definitely really crazy. It's awesome. And then here it shows you about the white fir, sugar pines, giant sequoias, incense cedar, and ponderosa pines. All trees that we see over there at the Sequoias, where I'm trying to fold this down so you can all see it. The diagram here is all for the trees. Also very interesting. Of course, the giant sequoia is the largest. So it does say the montane forest, all places we were walking. So mixed conifer montane forests in the Sierra Nevada's middle slopes are remarkably diverse. Look for ponderosa pine, sugar pine, white fir, black oak, Jeffrey pine, and incense cedar amid the scattered groves of giant sequoias. Wow. The park's 36 The Park's 36 sequoia groves are the world's most dramatic examples of old-growth coniferous forest. The Grace has the Sierra Nevada's western slope in a 60-mile-long belt between 5,000 and 7,000 feet. Some tree species live longer, have greater diameters, or grow taller like their cousins, the coast redwoods, but no tree is larger than the giant sequoia. In total volume of wood, it is the largest living tree on Earth. A mature sequoia's trunk remains thick for much of its height rather than narrowing to a point like other conifers. Chemicals in the woods and bark repel most insects and fungi, and thick bark insulates them from most fire. Their shallow root system has no taproot. The main cause of sequoia deaths is toppling. Soil moisture, root damage, and strong winds can destabilize them to the tipping point. The easiest place to meet the big trees are Giant Forest, Grant Grove, and Redwood Mountain Grove, all places that we went. Giant Forest includes the 8 largest sequoias, including the world's largest tree, the General Sherman, which stands at 275 feet. Yes, y'all, that General Sherman that you saw is at 275 feet tall. I mean, you saw how big he is. He was a big guy. If you haven't checked out that video, definitely go. Grant Grove is home to the second largest tree, the General Grant. Now, General Grant, we did not get to see him. Next time, we're going to see General Grant for sure. Redwood Mountain Groves, one of the largest sequoia groves, covers 3,100 acres. All 3 groves have loop trails. Oh yeah. And then they have those 2 caves, the Crystal Cave, and then the other one we went to in the forest, which they don't really talk about, which is very sad. They don't talk about it here. But yeah, so it also says here the tickets must be purchased ahead for the Crystal Caves. But yeah, it was amazing. We saw all of that. So that was some information here. Also about fishing, if you're into fishing here. So there are places that you can see the fish, but I don't know if you're allowed to fish here because the fish, it is like a threatened species. So it says here, the Cedar Grove granite cliffs and tall peaks frame the Kings Canyon floor. Above it, the Little Kern golden trouts are there. So apparently the golden trout is a threatened species. So I don't really know in terms of fishing. That's something you would have to look up. I don't have my fishing license or anything, so I wouldn't know. That's something I would love to do. But yeah, there's also threatened species of wildlife you can see and experience. And yeah, I mean, wow, this was just an amazing experience, and definitely one you have to go check out for yourself. So without further ado, thank you so much for being here. And that was the maps of the sequoias. And if you haven't checked out all of the videos of the sequoias, definitely go and do that, beautiful souls, because you will not regret it. And now, from me and my sleeping beauty back there, I hope you all have a great day or night wherever you are, and thank you so much for watching this. Until next time, see y'all later. Ciao.